If I told you that a simple magnet, not fertilizer, not compost, not some overpriced bottle from a garden store, could noticeably improve plant growth, you might laugh. I would have laughed too. Plants don't just respond to nutrients, they respond to forces. Gravity tells roots which way to grow, light wavelengths shape leaf size and internode spacing, electric charges move nutrients through cell membranes. Magnetism sits right alongside these forces, quietly influencing biological processes whether we acknowledge it or not. Every living cell relies on ion movement: calcium, potassium, magnesium, iron. These are charged particles. When water carries them through soil and into roots, they don't move randomly. Magnetic fields can subtly alter how ions behave, how water clusters, and how efficiently nutrients cross cell membranes. This isn't science fiction, it's basic physics applied to biology. What surprises most gardeners isn't that magnetism affects plants, it's that no one talks about it. Let's clear something up immediately. This isn't about sticking fridge magnets randomly in the soil and expecting miracles. When people talk about one magnet doubling plant growth, they're usually referring to a focused magnetic field applied at a strategic point: water, seed treatment, or root zone. So, the simplest and most reliable method involves magnetized water. When irrigation water passes through a magnetic field, its physical structure changes just a bit. The hydrogen bonds between water molecules loosen up, creating these smaller clusters. And these smaller clusters can actually penetrate soil and root tissues more easily, which improves hydration and nutrient uptake. This alone can lead to faster germination, stronger roots, and honestly, just more vigorous growth, all without adding a single gram of fertilizer. At Roots Haven Grounds, we really do obsess over roots. Healthy roots mean healthy plants. Magnetized water improves root function in 3 important ways. First, it improves water absorption. Smaller water clusters move more easily through cell membranes, allowing roots to hydrate more efficiently even in dry or compacted soils. Second, it enhances nutrient mobility. Minerals dissolved in magnetized water remain more evenly distributed, reducing precipitation and making nutrients more available to roots. Third, it stimulates enzymatic activity. Several studies show increased enzyme efficiency in plants exposed to magnetic fields, which translates to faster metabolism and growth. If you want to see the magnet effect with your own eyes, start with seeds. Seeds soaked in magnetized water consistently show faster germination and higher emergence rates. The reason is simple. Germination is all about water uptake and enzyme activation. Magnetized water penetrates the seed coat more efficiently, waking up the embryo faster. For gardeners, this means more uniform sprouting, stronger seedlings, and less wasted seed. This is especially useful for older seeds or varieties with tough seed coats. One of the biggest reasons magnet gardening gets dismissed is poor application. Random magnet placement leads to inconsistent results, which makes people conclude it doesn't work. The most effective setup is simple. A strong neodymium magnet placed around or alongside a water pipe or hose creates a consistent magnetic field as water flows through. This magnetizes the water before it reaches the soil. No electricity, no maintenance, no recurring cost. Another effective method is placing magnets near the root zone, not touching the plant, but close enough to influence ion movement in the soil. This works best in containers, raised beds, and small garden plots. The key is consistency. Plants respond to ongoing exposure, not one-time experiments. One of the biggest reasons magnet gardening gets dismissed is poor application. Random magnet placement leads to inconsistent results, which makes people conclude it doesn't work. The most effective setup is simple. A strong neodymium magnet placed around or alongside a water pipe or hose creates a consistent magnetic field as water flows through. This magnetizes the water before it reaches the soil. No electricity, no maintenance, no recurring cost. Another effective method is placing magnets near the root zone, not touching the plant but close enough to influence ion movement in the soil. This works best in containers, raised beds, and small garden plots. The key is consistency. Plants respond to ongoing exposure, not one-time experiments. So, if this works, why isn't it everywhere? The uncomfortable truth is that magnets don't sell well. There's no repeat purchase, no subscription, no seasonal dependency. You buy one magnet, and it works for decades. That doesn't fit the modern gardening industry model, which thrives on consumables. There's also institutional inertia. Agricultural science focuses heavily on chemistry, fertilizers, pesticides, amendments, because they're measurable, marketable, and familiar. Physics-based interventions require interdisciplinary thinking, and those often get sidelined. Finally, magnetism sounds too simple. We've been trained to believe that effective solutions must be complicated or expensive. A silent magnet doesn't feel powerful even when it is. If you're new to gardening, magnetism isn't a replacement for good soil, sunlight, or watering practices. Think of it as a force multiplier. It makes what you're already doing work better. Start small, use magnetized water on a few plants and compare them to untreated ones. Observe root development, leaf color, growth rate, and resilience during stress. Gardening is about observation, not belief. You don't need perfect conditions to see results. That's the beauty of it. For seasoned gardeners, magnets really shine in areas where, conventional methods just struggle. Poor soils, salinity issues, nutrient lockout, drought stress, these are tough challenges. Magnetized water actually helps plants access nutrients that are already present but just unavailable. It's more about improving efficiency rather than adding more inputs. This honestly aligns perfectly with regenerative gardening principles, working with natural forces instead of overpowering them. And, while many growers report improved yields, thicker stems, deeper roots, and better flowering when magnets are used consistently. Let's be honest, magnets won't fix dead soil, they won't replace organic matter, they won't compensate for lack of sunlight. They are not magic. At Roots Haven Grounds, we believe the future of gardening lies in understanding systems, not products. Magnetism reminds us that plants live in a world shaped by invisible forces, forces we can work with instead of ignoring. Once you see plants as electrical, magnetic, responsive organisms, rather than passive green objects, your entire approach changes. You stop forcing growth and start facilitating it. That shift is where real abundance comes from. One magnet won't turn a bad garden into paradise overnight. But used thoughtfully, it can double efficiency, strengthen resilience, and deepen your understanding of how plants truly work. The fact that this physics has been ignored says more about our gardening culture than about its effectiveness. Sometimes the most powerful tools are the ones that don't make noise. If you've ever felt that modern gardening focuses too much on buying and not enough on understanding, this is your invitation to experiment, observe, and think differently. If this article helped you see plant growth from a new angle, make sure to subscribe to Roots Haven Grounds, share this with a fellow gardener, and keep exploring the hidden forces that make gardens thrive. The soil always has more to teach us, if we're willing to listen.